Hey, Dawn.
Hello.
Welcome. So I'm here with Dawn Cherie, and she is also facilitating the ISTA level 1 for the first time in Holland. And together with Ohad and Buddhi, she's coming in to give us a piece of their beautiful magic and to the magic of ISTA. So welcome, Dawn.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Puja.
Yeah. So maybe you would like to introduce yourself a little bit to who is Dawn? Where do you come from, Dawn? I mean, what's your background? Where do you come from as a woman?
Right now I'm in Israel. I'm in our studio, office space, workshop. Healing. Go back to America, where I'm from. And I lived in Israel for 14 years, and I'm American, and I've been teaching this work and a lot with women primarily and spirituality in Israel for the last 12 years or so. So that's me, and I've been teaching the ISTA for about 4 years now and organizing it for about 4.5.
Okay, great. I'm happy to speak to you. I always love to look at your shining face and your radiant expressions. So it's a joy, a pleasure to meet also sister. And yeah, so what does it mean for you to be an ISTA facilitator, to work with ISTA and the work?
To be an instrument and a vessel really for change, for people to go through the change that they need to in their lives, and to be there to serve, spirit to move through me, to be there to feel the field. Really feeling the field is important for me. How the energy needs to come through in this week. The field is shamanic, and how do I give my gifts with the unique energy that's in the room, because every week is different. It's a different gift. So for me, I bring my gift of a lot of my feminine wisdom, the wisdom of the cycles, the moon, also what it means to be at the edge of the change of bleeding and going into the next phase of when you leave the blood. So it's a really fascinating time for me, and I'm feeling a lot of women are kind of in this next step evolving. But that said, I've worked with blood mysteries for the last 12, 13 years, evolving the red tent here in Israel. So that still is very important for me, as well as giving the emotional flexibility to let people really radiate their emotions, because I feel like people are the frequency that we operate in is very narrow, like the vibration, and I feel that we have a more expanded vessel to experience pleasure, to experience power, to experience love, and just to experience and to feel our feelings.
Yeah, to broaden the whole horizon of experiencing life. You know, it's so much more than we can even think of. Yeah. So it would be nice if we could speak a little bit, like focus on overcoming obstacles and how to be able to move through stuck energy as you know, as a beautiful topic, and maybe we can relate that to you're coming to Holland and people listening to that, like, oh, I'm relating to that. I understand a little bit what she's talking about.
Yeah, I have a funny story. I just came from the pool, and my hair is still a little damp, and I go swimming every day, and the few weeks ago the pool got a fence around it. It didn't have this fence. I could walk in easily, and one day I went there and the fence was there, and it was like, boom, immediately this huge obstacle that I couldn't get over. I couldn't even conceive of how to get over it. Went home, carried a ladder, over, down this hill and up and put it there. And then eventually I was kind of sneaking in after hours, and the security guy said, "Whoa, what are you doing there?" Oh, so I could have put the ladder back. And then I went back 2 days later, and someone had very cleverly built a sort of temporary system. And I went, "Oh, wonderful. We're in this together. We're in a team together to get over the obstacles of the fence." And then so I got over, had my swim, and then the next day it was gone. This little clever system was gone, and I went, "Oh," and a friend was with me, and then they said, "Well, look, there's like holes in this gate, and actually you're so tall, you can just swing your legs right over." And I did it, and I went, "Oh my God." I didn't even realize like that it was so easy to get over. I just needed the map. Like I just needed the map on how to get there. And for someone to say, "You can do it." Before, like I just said, "Wow, I can't do it. It's impossible." And so I feel like this was such a metaphor for ISTA and for your life. Like you think you can't get over things until someone says, "Of course you can. You just have to go over this way and just put your leg over this way." And it's right here, because everything is possible. Everything is right at our fingertips. So I feel like
someone says, I'm right here with you. So you can do this.
Yeah.
I'm right here. And
Yeah.
I can see it happening.
Yeah, exactly. And the training is such a metaphor for that. Like you don't know that there are things to help you with life. Like we go to school, but we don't have life school as much. And even these kind of progressive, even ISTA that's been around for 30 years and turned to LifeSpring, turned to the Forum, Landmark, it doesn't hold the sexuality piece. It doesn't hold the embodiment piece. This training has such a multifaceted opportunity for change.
How did you get involved with ISTA? Where did your jump start?
ISTA came to us. I mean, it really knocked on our door. We got a video presented to us, Ohad and myself, to present in front of Sex Magic, Baba Dez's film that he was the originator of. It really came through him, Baba Dez, ISTA and the trainings. And so we decided we watched this film and we were really turned on by the film. And so we gave a lecture in front of it on sexual shamanism, a bit on polyandry, the film touched upon. And then 6 months later, Kenneth Ray Stubbs, who is a very brilliant sexual shaman in Phoenix, was dousing our site and saw that we were good people, and he really felt our energy. And he said, "Why don't you come to the ISTA conference in Sedona?" And so we went and ended up staying 10 days and in the temple. And it just was like a hand in the glove. It just felt like, oh, this is family. This is a fit. And so, yeah, then Des came another 6 months later, and the ISTA was born here. Yeah. And it really flourished. Then it really took off in Israel after a little while, after some time.
Yeah. So how did Israel start to happen? We were just speaking about that. Like Holland it's the first time for Holland to host this amazing, fast-growing, like like it's spreading the goodies, the quality around, and so now Holland is kind of invited for it. And how do you see how it can land in a new place. So you've done Israel, and to me that doesn't sound like the obvious place, you know, from assumption probably, but still, you know. So how did it work? How did it work for you?
Yeah, so it really came in a way of like surprise at first, like, what is this ISTA? No one had heard of it. No one had, the OSHA work was very, very popular. Emotional release work, breath work, you know, tribal dance. Cathartic work was very popular, but combining sexuality was very new. Combining, you know, the price, they thought it was in shekels. They couldn't even get their head around how they could afford this. P.S. 4 years later, you know, people, I don't know, hundreds of people have done it. There's 400 people in a community that is like vibrant, like wow, like pulsing. They have events like 3-4 times a week. There's such a community here. But at first, no one knew about it. No one really knew that they needed it. And now it's really flourishing. So it was getting to understand that this work was powerful, and it did it a lot through coming through Des in the beginning, you know, because he really came. It's feeling the vibration and saying, this speaks to me. It's really, you hear it. Like, I feel like you hear the vibration, and you just know it. Sometimes people know it just from the words, spiritual, sexual, shamanic, boom, what's that? You know,
True. Yeah.
I want to know more. I feel my soul has a calling there, you know? Yeah. So it's if your soul has if there's some Velcro around it, if there's something curious, then there's something there for you. I feel that. Yeah.
I also feel there's a carefulness around it. Like people that don't know anything about this kind of work are very careful. Like, yeah, about and
yeah.
Sure. And I had some phone calls with people, and they said, yeah, but you know, can I keep my boundaries? Is it safe? That's, you know, that's usually the main fear. Like, can I be me and step baby steps if I need to do that, or step back if I need to do that, or step fully in and then what happens, or, you know, all the flavors of can I be safe? And yeah, for me, years ago, I felt nothing happening for me with ISTA. I was just like, oh, well, I don't think so. That's not me. And all of a sudden, something shifted. So I felt like something shifted in the field, also with the whole ISTA tribe growing. And I don't know, something got more polished about it. Not, you know, deliberately polished, but more serene, more, yeah. And all of a sudden it just shifted. And then of course I met you guys in Ibiza last year, and I could just feel like there's no way back anymore, you know. It's just like it's not even about me anymore. I'm in. Yeah, so
exactly.
Yeah, how about that safety feeling for people that, you know, look around the corner, like, I don't know, especially women ask a lot about that.
Yeah, I feel like I can really relate to that question, because I was a woman who, what's that song in Oklahoma? I'm just a girl who can't say no. La la la. Okay, I won't sing show tunes to you, but I really got the place in us that is a people pleaser, that wants to say yes, and that puts the other person in a higher level than we put ourselves. You know, I mean, the most important thing to know, and people get that, and I see the light bulb come on, is that when you say no to someone, you really say yes to yourself. You really, wow, I am important. And that, for some of the people, that's their whole training, is really, really getting to say no a lot, you know, and then they find their yes, because you can only find your yes when you've stated your healthy no. And it's really, we're not kidding when we say it. We don't just say, oh, you can you can say, you can keep your clothes on, you cannot do exercises, you need life. This isn't a metaphor, just a metaphor for like, I feel like the trainings is life.
Yeah, like a pressure cooker of life.
And you're going to be working your boundaries, and we're going to push you. I mean, we're going to challenge you. We're not going to peer pressure you, but we're going to challenge you, because that's what we're here to do. But the level 1, we're still holding. We are really still holding the container. As the containers go out from level 1 to level 2 to level 3, the container gets less held. But the level 1 is very much about learning, coaching you to learn how to self-regulate yourself and to take 100% responsibility for yourself, to know what's good for you. So we're going to offer you a lot of opportunities to play, to touch, to challenge yourself. You can take advantage of the extracurricular time and make meetings, or you can use this time for deep nourishment and just connecting with people. Or it's very open for opportunities in that way.
So what do people take out and take home mostly? Is there like a one red thread that you hear, or is there something specific you like in specific, or is there too many things to even mention? Because
I think,
and there's a lot happening in this week. So, you know, it's hard to just maybe mention one thing, but if you would mention one thing, what would it be?
I think the responsibility piece is a big one. I think that to learn that your sexuality is a gift, to learn that we were all born as sexual beings for a reason. And I think Ohad might have mentioned this in the talk that he gave as well with you, is that sexuality is life force, or sexuality is energy. And when we block our energy and our life force, we block our power. Mm-hmm. So how do we become more masterful and more connected to above and below and all of the energy centers? Mm-hmm. And that doesn't mean that you give it away, but you learn how to regulate your energy centers. And that is through learning how to connect to something bigger than you, how to heal sexual wounds, because we all carry wounds. We all carry wounds on some level, even if it's just the little girl who, you know, might have pulled your hair in class. There's some, ouch, I wasn't loved, to, you know, something quite dramatic. We all carry these. So how do we become more integrated and alive? I think that is something that I see again and again. People are opening.
Yeah.
I can go on and tell you so many things, because I'm so.
The thing that came up for me was the sword, you know, to be able to pull out our sword and to feel the qualities in there, and to, you know, I always had that sentence that has stayed with me from a previous training, to stay with the courage, you know, to have your masculine supporting yourself, and that's in the spine. So this sword actually that we did in the training, with all these qualities that I put in, I could just feel like how powerful that was to support me on that. Every time that I feel now, I stay with courage, I feel my sword, you know, backing me up. And, you know, so also these kind of tools, I felt really of such a beautiful shamanic benefit. Yeah.
One of the biggest things is when you know that your masculine is here for the women in service of the feminine. Mm-hmm. And it really, I think the deepest learning for me is about the inner sacred marriage of the masculine and feminine, and this wholeness that we have. And we're not looking outside for our wholeness. It's really understanding this, that I'm a self-regulating, whole, loving entity, and then I meet another one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Makes it easier to be you.
Yeah, and what I loved a lot was after the training that there's such a community supportive field. You know, the community is large, but also just the bubble that we had in Thailand where I was just such a beautiful, you know, everybody knows that where you've gone through and is so supportive of each other on the deepest level, wherever you were and wherever you are now, so that you know that you can always find people back on the same level. And that, yeah, I thought that was more impressive even than what I thought of before. Just knowing that the field is really there. Yeah, it's such a beautiful, strong connection.
It is, and it's an international tribe. And I mean, already there's been a training just now in Denmark and Europe, and there's going to be one, you know, also in other places in Europe. But I think this is the most exciting thing. Also, one of the most exciting things is that you'll have a community of people that can speak a that is familiar, and you're not alone. You're not alone. So, you don't even know someone right next door, you know, could be like down the street, could be, you know, such a meaningful friend. Like, that's a beautiful thing, that you're anchoring Holland, you're anchoring this. And people might come from India, but people also are going to come from a radius, you know, maybe 50 miles away, that they never knew that like someone else like-minded existed. And then it's going to be a game changer. It's going to shift the field. It's so important.
That's what I feel like we're going to, you know, Holland will never be the same.
You're going to have a place to play.
Yeah. So anything you would like to say to the Dutch people that, you know, are kind of getting the opportunity to kind of walk in their backyard into ISTA?
I would say take advantage of it. It's right here. Take advantage of it. It's coming to your door. And that is a gift. It's an opportunity. And there is never a better time. God, it's so cliche, but there's never a better time to change and to do the work than now. It's really easy to hold on and say, oh, I can do it another day, I can do it next year. But really the opportunity is like how long do you want to hold on to the life that is almost as good as it can be? Like, how long do you want that? Or how exciting would it be to say right now, okay, I'm gonna come, and then this change is started from the moment you say I'm gonna come. Like, that's the moment, because you've already made a shift to that that possibility and that reality.
Interested in it, you know, like, oh God, and then it starts, the whole process starts the moment you feel a yes coming up.
Yep.
So we're gonna chat one more time before the whole ISTA happening starts. I just know it, because there's so much to talk about, and I would like to dive into a few more topics with you if you like.
Great.
And, so thank you very much, Dawn, for this lovely chat and for the inspiration and the excitement that comes out of it. And so we are doing this in September 13 to 2022. 22, we have a little extension, especially because the work is so deep and vibrant. So we see that it takes a little time to, you know, to take it in fully, and we give that opportunity with 2 integration days. So below this video, you will see the website and the event on Facebook. And yeah, we're there. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.